Welcome to Copperhead Customs and a new episode. Today we're doing something different. Today is going to be part one of a two-part series on how to do a flip car. We're going to rebuild a smashed up Suzuki Swift that I've had for 2 years sitting in the paddock. So she's a little bit run down. We not only got to fix the smash, we've got to fix mechanical, service, interior's gone mouldy, you name it, we're going to have to fix it, and we'll show you how to take a bit of a turd of a car, turn it into a princess. Keep watching and see if you learn something. Reaper. Different today. You want to see what we're going to do to that? Stay tuned. Reaper. Okay, so what we have here is a Suzuki Swift. So I don't know if they're called Suzuki Swifts in America or wherever. And this is a... what year is this one? I can't even read it. I think it might be an 06. Let's go have a look on the other side. Let's go have a look on this VIN plate. It is a 06, there you go. So I've had this for a few years now. I don't know how many years, 2 or 3 years it's been sitting around. Now this is what is called in Australia a repairable write-off. So what this means is it's been in an accident. And as you can see by the guard and the bumper. But it is deemed that it is not structurally bad. It has just been in a little fender bender. The insurance company find that they are not viable for them to fix economically, so they write them off, send them to auction, sell them. Someone like me buys them. I bring them home, fix them. There's a big paperwork trail that you got to do with them. You got to prove all the parts are legit and that they're not stolen parts and all that you put onto the car. And it goes in for an inspection. They inspect your work, they inspect all your paperwork, and then the car can be re-registered, but it will always be listed as a repairable write-off. So the car always has a bit of a stigma, but those of you who know a bit about this stuff know that there is generally nothing wrong with them. Quite a few of my cars are repairable write-offs. My CLS was a repairable write-off for a small little scrape. But so look at this one. So the headlights were in this car and the tail lights. I actually nicked them for something else. So the damage was the guard and the bumper. Now, I know these cars very, very well, these Suzuki Swifts. I've repaired hundreds, and I have repaired hundreds of them. So here's something we can check, is we'll look at our little gap down there. Right, this is before we even have to, we can just look at the gap and look at our gap here. So we can actually do we've got 2.5 fingers, okay? And if we go around this side, we've got the same. You don't know that, see, 2.5 fingers. So pretty much I'll check it all, but I don't think there's any suspension damage in this, but I'll check it all out. So what is wrong with this car? Well, you can see the guard, you can see the bumper bar, and if you have a look here on the side of the rad support, there's a little bit of damage. Can you see in there with a little bit of damage in there? So the plan is we are going to fix this car. It is located, it is 140,000 kilometres. This is about 90,000 miles, I suppose. As you can also see, our bottom bumper Rio, they have a top and a bottom one. The bottom one there is dented, so we will go and grab one of them. Our radiator does not leak, but our aircon is not working, so we have to suss the aircon condenser and compressor out. Now, I'm not sure if I've got any compressors left, so we'll have to suss that out. Now, we've got a guard. I think we've got a guard sitting in there. The bumper, we actually have the broken piece of the bumper. This one here has clear coat peel, as you can see. Common problem with these up in, but to me this has had a touch up before, I believe. So we're just going to replace that door. Front door's okay. We will rewrap the pillars in black vinyl, and the front pillar will get rewrapped. New guard. The bonnet is unscathed. It does have a little bit of, it is just about, I don't know if you can pick that up in the camera, There's a little bit of discoloration there. So we'll have a look at where the paint's starting to fade. So we'll check. The bumper, we'll have a suss out. We will either, because I am tight, I will either repair this bumper or the other bumper, whichever. I think the other bumper is damaged too, but we will repair that, so I'll show you how to do that. I would almost say this top bumper Rio has a little bit of damage. We'll have a suss of that. Now this car's been sitting so long. The seats are a bit mouldy, so I'll see what I've got in the way of seats. We'll probably throw another pair of seats in it. We'll throw another steering wheel on because of the little crack here, so we'll put a new steering wheel on it because I have all this stuff, guys. So that door card, we will detail the inside completely, and we go over these cars and make them immaculate. So we've got hubcaps, but I do have a set of Swift alloys that we will look at. The tailgate we may swap because it may just be easier to swap the tailgate than to do this. We'll have a suss of that, otherwise we'll get all these stickers off. The actual peel's not too bad. Now this is something I do want to address on the car. I don't know if I'm going to get rid of all the crazy cracking, but I definitely want to fix this. So we're definitely going to sand. We may just go to this edge. I'm thinking we may just master that edge and just redo this little piece here and not do the whole bumper. I'll have a think about that. We do have a mark down there, but so we'll have a look at this. We may give the bumper a quick squirt. I'm not sure. I'll think about that. We do have a mark there on the tailgate, so we may swap tailgates. I'll think about that. I've got another set of tail lights for it kicking around. As you can see, we need hubcaps on this side, or we swap the alloys. Like I said, we've got to wrap the pillars. Now, motor-wise, it needs a complete detail. And it is doing the high idle. If anyone knows anything about Swifts, they have a throttle body problem where they idle high. Now, our carpet is a little bit ratty. I'll think about that. I think I do have a carpet out the back. I'm not sure if I really feel like doing the carpet. We'll see how I feel. Now, our motor looks pretty ratty, but it is low-keyed. Very low-key car. Now, these are common problems. So, does the high idle where it idles at about 2,000 RPM, which is to do with the throttle body. It's the idle. There's a few things it can be, actually. It can be the mass airflow sensor. It can just be the idle air control valve, which is 9 times out of 10 what it is. What I find is you just swap them over. So I've got about 10 of them out the back. But when they sit, they can stuff up. So we'll have to address that. You can see we've got an oil leak up the top, which will be the rocker cover gasket. Very common, another common thing with these. We've got to detail all of this. And we've got to address the air conditioner and stuff like this will not pass my standard. So I will replace this with a better one. Things like that. So like I said, these cars, when they leave me, will be immaculate, which you will see over this video is what we're going to do. So that is our plan. So I'll just show you all around it so you can have a proper look at what we're dealing with to start with, how it is. A bit ratty. Now this is a low-key car. Now like I said, I've had this for a few years sitting out it's actually been up at the other block, but it was sitting out the back here for a few years. So it is looking a bit rougher, like it didn't have mouldy seats when we got it, so I don't actually know what's happened there. But we will endeavour to make this thing beautiful, like when it first rolled out of the factory. Okay, so that is the plan. Now, these Swifts are one of the best small cars you can buy. The 05 to 2010 generation Swift, they are great cars, reliable as. There is not a lot of things that go wrong with them. The things that do go wrong are easily fixed. Woo! Woo! So stay tuned and see what I turn this into, a Reaper. you would have just seen me get those stickers off the back. This one here still got a bit of residue. We'll have another go. We've got the one off the bumper. And if you've seen what I was using there, it's this stuff here. Sticky spot and stain remover, multi-purpose cleaner. Just get it from the cheap shop. Citrus base. It's real good for getting stickers off. So off the paint, and I used a plastic blade for the paintwork and a razor blade on the glass, and we got rid of them. Now, so like I've said, we're going to do something with this rear bumper. We at least have to, whether I paint the whole thing or if I just paint that little top section, I'm unsure as yet. So we gave it a bit of a clean here and there, mainly because we got the pressure cleaner out, mainly because the motor was very oxidized from just sitting for so long out in the weather. So I wanted to I just gave that some degreaser and pressure cleaned it so we had a better working surface. Quick. So we just gave it a quick tear down. As you can see, our damage to our rad support. So I'll decide whether I just pull that and dolly it and re-weld it, or whether I drill it off and put a new one on. We pulled the radiator out to give us more room there. It also, it's a bit of coolant. Our condenser, aircon condenser, had no gas, so I can't find any holes in it, but that's where I'm thinking that's damaged. It actually, there you go, that's what it is. It's this line here, so we'll pull that off. That is the painful one that goes all the way around to the back, of course. We'll pull that off and swap that out for a new one. So that's good. That explains why our aircon is not working. So we'll replace that line. We'll probably replace the condenser as well. Radiator and fan should be fine. It's very simple. These are very simple. So they're mainly 10mm bolts. You got two 8mm here on the battery bracket. The rest is all 10mm. Some of the front end here is done with 12s. It's very, very simple. The bumper has 4 bolts and 2 screws under here on the plastic clips. The guard has 2 bolts here. It has a bolt here. It has a bolt there, and it has a bolt down the bottom. And generally when the light and stuff's in, there's a bolt in this arrangement. You can see that's probably a little bit out of shape, but we'll address that when we put it all back together. So these cars are very, 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 very simple. You don't need a lot of tools. You need a Phillips head screwdriver, a clip tool, you need an 8, 10, 12, and a 14, and you can do 99% of this car with those few tools. I am serious about that. They are very, very easy to work on. So you think you need a 17 and a 19 when you get into some of the suspension, but other than that, that's all you need. An 8, a 10, a 12, a 14 socket, maybe a spanner here and there. You can do the whole car. So there's our cat converter. These are worth really good money, peoples. Keep that a secret. Now, something I did notice on this car is it has been in an accident before. Now here, as you can see, where they've sprayed their rock guard, you can see that, the whole length. Okay, now that's not factory. That is not factory, peoples. This side here is more factory. As you can see here, this texture, this is the factory texture. And it's just along the bottom there, very subtle. So this is factory. That side is not factory, and so this car has been in an accident. Now we've got to hit this little sticker here up with the desolvent, and what we'll probably try to do is those little clear brawl, I think they call it, for the rock chipping there. They look disgraceful, so we'll try to get that off. It's a pain in the ass to get off, but we'll get that off because it just makes the car look so much nicer. And as you can see on this side, here's something else. This is how you tell. You know, see on this side, the clear brawl is not on there. Okay, so this side has been in an accident before. So we'll just run through what we've done so far, and then what we've got to do. So as you would have seen, we've changed the rear doors. We've got a new door on there. Now just looking at it there, it does look a shade out, but it is the same colour, but it is you can see, but no one will pick that, I don't think. So we've got a new door on there. Now I don't know if I have said, but this car has been in a prank. Anyway, regardless of that, we changed the door, and you would have seen that I pulled all of this, all of the windows, I pulled it all apart, the whole mechanism. So because the parts car window, which is this door window, was tinted, and this car didn't have tinted windows, so we've put, this is the original window out of the smashed door. Yeah, so to do that, very simple on a Swift. You got a screw in here, the door card pops off, you unplug your switch. I think there was 3 or 4 bolts here and a couple over here, and you undo your electric window mechanism. It then slides off the little rail, pull that out the way. There's a Phillips head screw up in there, and there's a bolt here and a bolt down there to undo this rod. You can then move that forward. You got to pull your rubbers out. You can then, this here just pops off with 2 clips. You can then get that quarter window out, move this out the way. You can then slide that window out. You've also got to take off this rubber. It just pops off there, and then you just pry it up. Best to pry it up from the inside though, so you don't damage your paintwork. And then just reversing it to put it back together. So pretty easy stuff, guys. So there's the door done, right? So there's one thing ticked off the list. You would have seen we de-stickered the back. Now, I forgot to film what I did in here, which I apologise for, but we'll run you through what I've done. We will fire it up in a sec if you want. As you can see, it doesn't look anything like it did before. It actually looks quite nice now, yes? Yes, it does. So, this air conditioning line is a new one. So this was actually pinched back here into the, I might just move that out of the way a bit there, I think, guys. Yeah. So if we do start it, we don't hurt it. But this was pinched, which is why we had no air conditioner. Our old one, here's our old one. And see there, get the camera right. Okay, so that was pinched. It obviously has a hole in it. So we lost all our gas, hence why our aircon wasn't working, fingers crossed, because I don't think I have any compressors left. So we put a new one of them on. To do that, it's pretty basic. There's a few clips that run through there and there. Another one there. There's a little nut just there, because you've got to take this hose out the way. The electrical plug's there. It runs around the back here. And as you can see down in there, you undo that bolt and pull this line off, and then you can pull the bottom line out. So it's pretty easy to swap that line out. Right, we also had an oil leak. So this was all powdery. As you remember, all the aluminium was powdery, so that's all been wire brushed and coated in inox. We also took the rocker cover off. To do that, you undo these 4 8mm, pull that cover off. Under here are your 2 coils, which are held on with 2 10mm and 2 10mm. You pull your coils out. There's a plug here, electrical connection, and electrical connection there for them. Common fault with these is they have a gasket around where your coil plugs go on this cover on the inside. Common fault that they leak oil, which leaks oil down into where the coils sit with your spark plugs. Eventually your car will develop a miss because it's just swimming in oil. So 2 of these were swimming in oil, but the car was still running good, but eventually it wouldn't have. So we undid them, undid our coils, cleaned them all up. We took our spark plugs out, and we let all the oil drop into the motor. Yes, I know, whatever, but we then clean all the spark plugs. We wire brush all the spark plugs on the wire brush grinder, get them cleaned. We actually undo the bolts on the outside here, and we take the cover off completely. We have to undo this hose and the PCV valve hose. We take that off. You can either replace the gasket. I generally just put a little smear of gasket sealant on and put it back together. We put the plugs in all nice and fresh and clean. They were like brand new. put the coils back in, plug it all in, do it all back up. In the meantime, we inoxed everything, so we got rid of all that powdery corrosion. We also gave this little cover, just a little quick squirt of silver paint to make it look sexy while we had it all apart. As you can see, we've got our air cleaner off because we're still working in here. We've actually changed our throttle bodies. So to do that, it is hose clamp there to take the your air elbow off. There's 4 12mm bolts to take the throttle body off. You've also got to undo these 2 hoses with the hose clamps, and there is 3 electrical connections, I'm pretty sure, 2 or 3 to take off. We just put a whole new throttle body on, nice clean one. And here's a little trick. So before we did that though, so what happens is, this is your idle air control valve. This sticks. So there's like a little bypass through, and it sticks in there. And sometimes you can just get away with tapping this and freeing it up while you're cleaning it, right? Now, ours wouldn't. So these are, you can't actually change these. These are, well, you need a special tool for these, so I don't even bother, because it's not actually the electrical side, it's the actual shaft seizes up on them. So we just put a new throttle body on, and even that was idling a little bit high at the start, and I tapped and tapped and tapped and freed it all up, and well, it was running perfectly last week. We've also detailed pretty much most of the engine by degreasing, throwing with inox, wire brushing, so forth. So I'm pretty sure mechanically this thing was purring like a kitten. Now we've gone and grabbed, I don't think it's that one. I've gone and grabbed the new bonnet latch I've got somewhere over here, because that one was all rusty. So we've gone and grabbed the new bonnet latch. So we'll give that a little bit of a clean. We'll put a new bonnet latch on. We will get these, the radiator supports, we'll give them a wire brush and a quick coat of paint so they look nice. So it's all just about making this look good. So while we've got no water in the system, we'll probably get rid of this hose clamp and this one and put nice clean ones on with no rust. Just little things like that, and it will make this car look so much nicer. Okay, now something else we found when I pulled this wheel off, we've got a little bit of suspension work to do. So as you can see, our drop link is bent. It's not meant to look like that, and I don't know if you're going to pick it up on camera, but that strut is bent. Okay, so if you look here, so what you can do is you can put like a straight edge on here, and if you actually, it actually goes, if I can line it up, it actually goes woof. Okay, not that severe, but there is a slight little bend in that strut. So we're going to replace the strut, we're going to replace the drop link. The lower control arm seems fine. The bushes are a little bit split, so I'll see, while I've got it all apart, I'll see what I've got. I've probably got a nicer one. We'll put that on. I might even throw some new brake pads in while we're in here. I'm not sure. We'll see how we go. There's still a fair bit of meat on them, but while we got it apart, I'll see what I've got out the back. I think I've got a new set out there we may throw on. So that will be the mechanics. Bar putting a fresh battery in, all done. We also have a new radiator to put in the system. We've got this bumper here that we're going to use that I found. We have to put the new grille and the plastics in. Has to be scuffed and repainted, but it's actually a nice one. It's not damaged, so we're going to use that one. We do have a guard here, but it does have a little bit of damage down the side and the bottom there, so I'm not 100% on this one as yet. As you can see, just down here, it's only minor, like I just put a little touch-up paint. No one will probably even pick it. And there's a little mark there. So I'm humming and hawing about this. The other one on the parts car has a bit of damage too, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. 100% not. Alright, first things first, let's fire it up. That's alright, isn't it? Straight off the cold. It's idling at, what's that, about 1300 at the moment. We'll see if it idles down in a second. We may just have to give it another little tap. It is idling a touch high. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. It did have a check engine light on the other day too, so... Well, here we go. Here it goes. See that? Just started to idle down. And and I think you will agree, it's looking a fair bit freaking nicer than it did when we first started. So we'll just have a little zoomies around, and then I'll tell you what we did. Look at the back here, and what we will do while this is there, we will make sure that we're open so we can look in the boot. As you can see, hey, it's not looking too bad, is it? Now these have an electric switch for the boot, so you've got to have them running. So hey, what do we reckon of that? It's looking a fair bit better. So we've got all the spare wheel, everything. So this has all been vacuumed and detailed through, everything scrubbed. So the boot, we've taken that, we didn't even have a spare, but that's all been scrubbed in there. The jack's put in, all of this has been scrubbed. This has all been vacuumed. They're the original rear seats, but they've all been cleaned. We've got this out of a parts car because that was missing. So everything's been cleaned, scrubbed. As you can see all around it's all been detailed. We've got the new tail lights in. Now what we did do is we pulled the whole interior out. The whole interior came out, the seats came out. Front and back, all the plastics, all the door molds came out. We've put new front seats in because the others were just atrocious, so we've put new front seats in. We've put brand new carpet in, well, not brand new, but new secondhand. This is a really smick carpet, so there were some wear marks in here and there was mold and everything, so we've pulled everything out. We've vacuumed everything in the floor, brand new carpet, everything's been scrubbed and cleaned. Hey, we've given it the treatment. We've also put a new steering wheel on as well. Oh yeah, brand new, well not brand new, but a new steering wheel. So the airbag had to come out. New steering wheel went on, airbag back on. We also had these broken in the air vent. So we've pulled all that out. We had to pull the stereo out, which is in underneath. There's a bolt either side. So we've taken that out, replaced the air vents, so they're new. Yeah, and everything's been scrubbed and detailed in here, and it's been deodorized and sanitized and all that malarkey. We've done all the door jambs have been done, everything's been done, the door cards have all been scrubbed. So yeah, I don't think you can deny that ain't looking a fair bit better. Now these come out of a parts car. They had some parts sitting on them, so there's some little indentations. They will come good once I start sitting on them and drive it. So this car will have to go for generally put about 500 k's on them minimum before they go. I actually take them when this will go for an inspection. It goes on like a 400 or 500 k drive that day, let alone I will probably run it around town a bit. So yeah, interior 100% finished now. The motor is 90% done and the body's 90%. Today we're going to take the rad support off. So to do the rad support we've got to take the guard off. So the guard's a bolt there. You've got to take this little plastic thing off with the Phillips head quickly. There's a bolt there. There's one under here I've just took off behind a plastic. There's one under there and there's one there. So we've got to take that off. Then we are going to drill out this rad support. Drill them out here. We drill it out here, here and over here. And then we will endeavour to put a new one on. We also in the last one did all the motor, got all that running good. So yeah, rad support on. That's all we'll do today I think, because it's, have a look, it's horrid weather. And we're getting close. We've got to do some suspension work and then some painting and it's nearly done. So enough rambling, let's get some work done. Reaper. Okay, I don't know if you would have seen all that, yes. So now we've got to do it to this rad support. We've taken that rad support off. Now if you've seen, this side just broke off, so we've got to just get the grinder onto these spots, and that one's actually popped through. Great. And if you've seen the little tool I used, it's this little sucker here. Now you can just use it's like a little baby hole saw kind of type thing. You can just use a normal drill bit if you want, but these do a really good result. So see, they leave the spot there. Then you do the same onto this, and then this piece will sit straight over there, and we've got beautiful, yeah. So like here, you can, if you want, just drill these out. Does that make sense? We can just drill these out because we're going to weld it, yeah. But yes, then it will line up perfectly. Yeah, so old mate's just trying to dig up to see if we can find a bit of paint. We'll try to shoot it probably, at least now. We'll get a little paint shot in there where we're not going to be able to get to later. So we've got to now drill the rails off on the new parts, rad support, and also up the top. So we've got to do the exact same thing we just did, put on our parts one, then we can sit it on, weld it on, and boom, our rad support is done, bar slapping some paint on it. So we'll keep motoring. Repart. Okay. So we're back. So you would have seen we got the original one drilled off and taken off. Now I didn't film drilling the chassis rails and bits off of this one because it would have been boring, and it actually fought me a little bit because I should have done it when it was on the other car. So now here's our drill bit that we've drilled out. Yeah, now if you can see in there, if you can see there, the spot weld through that hole, that's the original spot. Okay, see that there? On the back one, focus in, boom. So that's the original spot that didn't get drilled out. So exact same spots. These are all done with the machine. So the spots are in the exact same spots on every single car. So if you line, like we have here, line that up, re-weld that there, it is in the exact same spot. Okay, so the same will be on here, will be the same, and on there will be the same, and up here will be the same. So the step now is that I'll put yours on time lapse, and I will just start. We'll line that up perfectly. We'll weld that one. Then we'll line this up. We'll weld this one. There's got the one from underneath we'll do. We'll go over the other side. We'll do the same thing. We'll do the two over there. Then we will use the clamps. We'll come in here and clamp this in the right spot. Bang, 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 bang. Okay, so at the moment it's very close, but it's probably not quite perfect. But we'll just slowly tizzy along and do that. Then what we will do, and we will scuff it up. So to scuff it up, you can either use 400mm sandpaper, or well, these aren't the ones I normally buy, but these are just at the shop. Just some abrasive pads, like a Scotch-Brite type stuff. You can use them to scuff all this up, so we've got something to adhere to. The new paint's got something to adhere to, so we go through and scuff all this up, give it a quick wipe. We'll throw some paper all through there so we don't get any overspray on anything, and we'll quickly shoot that in with the pressure pack. Right, so this is, you can do that at home. Freaking work. Okay. Okay, we are back. As you can see, we've done plenty. So, we've got it running at the moment, charging up the battery a bit. The battery's dead, so I have to put that on proper charge. We've got the red support all done. We painted this as well, so it blended in better, because the Swifts are a bit weird with how they paint the fronts, but so it's not actually really the body colour, but there's a little bit of it misted, but there's not. And so anyway, we've got the body colour, we've done the red support, we've done that. We sort of did a blend on the rails. We put new upper and lower bumper reos in. We hooked up the radiator fan, condenser. You hear that noise, bit of a bearingy noise. I think the fan bearing is a bit noisy, so we may take that out yet. We put all the air filter on, the washer bottle, put the guards on. Then what you would have seen was me gassing up the aircon, and it is beautiful. So we'll come inside quickly, and what we got here is a digital, it is icy cold, a digital thermometer. So we send that down in the vents, and if you can see that, 7 degrees, 8 degrees. Hey, how freaking cold is that? Whoo! So that aircon is absolutely crazy. Now you can see the dash when the compressor kicks on and off, it flashes because the battery's so dead. So and you can also see our idle is beautiful. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. Boom. It's idling around the 1,800 to 1,000, depends on whether the compressor's on or off. So that is perfect. That's how they're meant to idle. So anyway, we can turn that aircon off now, because that is all very good. We might as well turn the car off actually. Right, so we're getting close on it. What have we got left? This guard's still got a little bit of damage. We're not really impressed with that guard. We've still got to do the strut and the drop link. I haven't done that yet. Engine bay is all pretty good. We've got all our plastics on. I'll decide about that fan. Last time I had a noisy one like this, when I did the test, it let go and I had to go buy one, so I was more than likely I'll take that fan out. We've got to charge that battery. We only it's got a pretty weak mix of coolant in it, so we need to put some straight concentrate in to get the mix a bit stronger. We still got to top up our washer bottle. We still got to dump the oil and filter, change that. Over this side, we're pretty good. We'll give this a bit of a once over, a bit of a degrease. All in there, we'll all give a degrease and an inox. And you can see that lower control arm, we'll zoom in on that. We'll go right in. And you see that the over there, the rubber is a bit split. So there's a fair chance I'll swap these lower control arms out. Then our plastic, we have a plastic liner goes in there. We then have a guard liner that goes on up here. Over here we're looking, there's a little plastic piece that goes in there. Then there's the guard liner that has to go on. But I'll wait until I do my suspension work. So the next job basically is the suspension work. All our damage has been fixed, and it looks, I don't know, looks pretty damn good. And now this is done properly, okay? It's been done properly. So we've had our rad supports been re-welded, all proper. You know what I mean? This isn't some dodgy repair. This is actually done absolutely perfectly, all right, just like it would in a crash shop. So I've actually been seeing a few YouTubers doing some pretty dodgy stuff, like, yeah, it's just not on. All right, so Okay, we're back. So we got a bit done so far. I just finished painting the boom par. As you can see, it's not bad. There's a little bit of trash. A couple little bits of trash just there. Other than that, we're pretty good. Good enoughs. Nice and shiny. So if you see what I did, I actually dusted the first coat of silver on, real light dust. Then I actually just slowly built the silver up. My gun was playing up a little bit. It's a little bit, that one, I've got a brand new one, a really good one. It's a good gun, but it's getting old. I've got a brand new one, but didn't want to use it on this. I'm saving it for when I do my Pontiac. So we dusted we slowly just built up the silver until we had nice coverage on it. Then we went and mixed some clear and hammered the clear down. So we just did the same. We did a little dust coat. Then I just came back and slowly built it up heavier and heavier, and then did a nice heavy coat there. Probably coat. So the first one was like a dust. The second one was a bit heavier. The third one was heavier again. And then at the end, then we got that nice, as we can see then. Then at the end, what I always do is I just do a mist. So I keep the gun way back up here, you might have seen, like really high, and I just do like a little bit of a mist over the top, and that sometimes just levels stuff out, takes away a bit of peel sometimes, but it was pretty good. There's not a lot of peel in it. It's actually pretty nice, other than a few bits of trash. Well, you're going to get that when you're painting in a filthy dirty shed. So we don't really care about that on this. It's just a freaking bumper on a Swift, but that looks pretty damn good. If we zoom in there, like, there's not much peel in that, like. Alright, so bumper is painted. We've got to find some plastic, some grill inserts and stuff. We'll dig them out later, but we won't put them in until tomorrow. We'll let that dry overnight. Tomorrow we'll put our plastics in, put it on the car. We painted our little headlight surrounds. We just did them with the pressure pack. We got them fitting up nice. We've got nice gaps all around. We slid that guard back a bit, and that fixed that gap. So yeah, we've painted them. There's something different. They don't normally have this. So we've done that. We changed our fan over. We've got our parts down here for our suspension to do. Yeah. I'll need to get some touch-up paint on that. And we need to put guard liners in it. Tizzied up some hubcaps, dug some hubcaps out. So we're getting very close. Now, this can't go in for an inspection for a couple of months. They're booked out solid. So, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to polish it. We've got to wrap our pillars. We've got to get rid of this. We'll see if I polish it or not in the video. We still got to get rid of our clear brule. But basically, the car's just got to go and sit outside for 2 months. So, I don't know how much more I'm going to do. We're going to do the suspension. And yeah, we've got to still see. We have to zush up our plastic. We'll do it all, hey? We'll just do it all in this video so you can see the end result. Then it can sit out. I'm just going to have to do it again. We'll probably paint our windscreen wipers. We'll rip them off quickly, paint them. We've got to rejuvenate our plastics on here. We rejuvenate all them. Yeah, wrap the pillars. Very, very close now. So I think tomorrow we'll finish it, right? Tomorrow we'll finish it. That'll be it. Alright. Let's get back to work. Alright, we're back. So that's it, that's all I'm doing. There's a couple little things left to do, but nothing major. We've got to take the clear brawl off there. Needs a good wash, needs the windows cleaned. The 2 guard liners I haven't put in. And as you can see here up close, we need to, the bracket behind there's broken. I don't have any. So I normally actually glue these in, but I'm out of glue, so we need to do that. And there's a little touch up on this guard down the bottom. But other than that, I think we are done. Clear brawl there has to be done. And yeah, that's it. Give it a good wash, polish. I haven't polished it or nothing. There's no point. I can't put it in for inspection for about 2.5 months. I just went and looked at the dates. We've done the suspension, we fixed all that. We ended up changing both lower control arms, the strut drop link on this side. We've got new radiator, we changed the fan over this morning. New headlights bin, polished the headlights, painted the little thing. This is not a normal, that's not normal. Painted the bumper. Yeah, it's looking pretty good, isn't it? Like I said, I haven't even washed it yet, so it will get even nicer once it's polished and washed and polished. But we tittied up the rear bumper a little bit, give that a little blowout, a bit of paint, and inside's all beautiful. It's running superbly. It's got a flat battery, so I'd have to go jump start it. But under here's all good. All our gaps were nice, I'll show you them in a second. Yeah, all under here is all beautifuls. Yeah, we've got to put some coolant in there and clean that. So we'll just give it, like I said, it's got to go sit in the paddock for nearly 3 months, so there's no point getting too carried away with the cleaning when it's just going to get filthy. So our actual bumpers are always out. As you can see, our bumper's out. That wasn't me, I didn't mix that colour, that was the so-called professionals. I'm not real happy about that. So this one here, the pressure pack, which I did the rad support in, that was from Super Cheap Auto. So that's off Joe Blow, he's actually me mate, but who's not a paint person. He mixes it bloody near on perfect. The paint professional from the shop, from the proper paint shop, mixes that up about 5 shades out. Anyway, whatever. So as you can see, our gaps perfect around the headlight, standard. They open up on a Swift. Bonnet gap, beautiful gaps. It's all good. Anyway, there you go. That's how we do the Suzuki Swift flip car from start to finish. I don't know, drop your comments. I think looks pretty damn good, doesn't it? A whole lot better than it did last week. So how long did that take me? I don't know, 3 or 4 days off and on, I'd say. And like I said, we just got to polish it, a couple little detail things, done. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed those two, something a bit different. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and we will see you. I've got a surprise for you next. Well, coming up, there's one. I don't know if it'll be next one, but coming up, we've got a surprise. So, stay tuned. Reaper.